Hello everyone, it's SOD Medhaven here today, and we're going to be looking at the kirovets-1, also known as the Scourge. We're going to be calling it the Kurt-1 throughout the rest of the video because the Kurt-1 is the official nickname for this tank. It is on PC, but only the Chinese server. The Americans, Russian, and the UK do not have access to the tank at all. I feel bad for them because it is such a great tank. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the base packages for the tank, which there's only one package. Jumping into this, we have a base penetration of 221, 390 alpha. 390 alpha, you can look at high rolls in about 490s, and low rolls around probably 298, I believe is the lowest we will see. We will take a look at that in the ammunition here in a minute. The premium rounds in this tank at 270, those are pretty up there at 390 alpha. The high explosive 61 penetration, that's actually a pretty high penetration, but don't expect to make too many pop shots with a .45 gun dispersion. 530 alpha on the high explosive, those are really good. Traverse speed in the tracks of 26. It also has a hard ground resistance of 1, a medium of 1.1, and a soft of 2, which means that soft ground is the only ground you are going to be struggling on. Hard and medium, you are going to be hauling butt. So let's go ahead, jump into the engine here. 15.16 power to weight, 42 top speed, 20 reverse. 20 reverse is really high. You're going to be able to move all over the place. This thing is not going to feel like a heavy. It is going to feel like a medium with the way that it's moving around. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into the gun completely here. We have a 13-second base reload. Aiming time of 3.10. I would highly recommend a enhanced gun lane drive or vertical stabilizers. Vertical stabilizers will help you out more if you have a trained crew with snapshot and smooth ride, along with brothers in arms. Running vertical stabilizers would work out a lot better. Now, you only have 5 degrees of gun depression. 5 degrees is hard to work with, but you can work with 5 degrees if you can park your butt on a rock. So like, let's say you're coming over a hill, but rather than trying to drive all the way over the hill, look to your left, look to your right. Let's say there's a little bit of an issue with the terrain that, like, you have a hill off to your left, you can slowly back up, do like an angle on your tank, and then get that 5 degrees of gun depression to where you don't have to drive over the hill all the way. That's the best way to try and prevent people from hitting your lower plate. Traverse speed, well, rotational speed on the tracks is 26 degrees. It's not the fastest, but it's going to feel pretty quick with the power to weight and the terrain resistance. Jumping over to the turret, you have 360 degrees, 360 meters of view range. Sorry about that. My brain is, a little bit off. I just got off of work. I'm enjoying myself right now. So 360 meters of view range. Sometimes I would say you want to take like binoculars. Binoculars would help 360 surpass 440 with a good crew, and if you're running with premium consumables. So 24 degrees of turret rotation. It's not the fastest, but it gets the job done. It works out really well. This is a heavy tank, and it's a Russian heavy tank. So it's got armor. I'm going to love jumping into that armor here in a second. Alright, so taking a look at the standard rounds here, there's one thing about these statistics that I absolutely love. So I never really look at the penetration values whenever I'm looking at the statistics. What I normally pay attention to is the lowest possible roll and the highest possible roll, and then the velocity of the round. So for the ZBM-14 round, travels at 1,400 meters. Holy crap. That is quick. If you're leading a target, you're going to hit them. That shell's going to leave, and half a second later, it's going to hit. So the premium rounds at 820, that's okay. They're pretty slow. They're going to be better off being loaded in at close quarters, not long range. So, yeah, the high explosives, they get 30 meters less than the premiums at 790, but they're the lowest possible damage you will see coming out of those, if they penetrate, is 398, and they will have a high roll of 663 if you're lucky. And that's only if you penetrate. So like a Scorpion, a Shaska, SU-130 PM, Strikers, And then there's a couple of lightweight tanks inside of tier 8. So loading a couple of high explosives always pays off because Scorpion Gs are pretty common. Same thing about the Shaskas and SU-130PMs right now. So the standard rounds, lowest possible damage of 293, highest possible damage of 488. The travel speed, they're awesome. They hit where you want them to a lot. You can actually snapshot with these rounds because of how fast they are. And if we're capable of that today, I would love to show you. So jumping over into the armor, let's take a look at the front here of the turret at 195. 195 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you take a look, it's got an angle to it. It's actually pretty thick. Now, the front right cheek, I love this tank because of this. It actually has a overlap. So a 50mm armor basically counts as spaced armor right there. Now, premium shells to get launched into that, it's going to hit that 50 and it's going to just die out. It's going to lose all of its force and momentum, count as a ricochet, auto bounce. Now, standard shells, they do have a chance to go through it and penetrate the secondary armor if it's AP, not APCR. Now, jumping over to the left side of the cheek, that is exposed. It is basically a flat spot. It is a weak spot. There is no hatch on this tank except for the sides on the front there at 175, but they are angled. They are pretty hard to go through. If you're wiggling around, they are very hard to aim. Another thing about this tank, let's go ahead and jump over to the front of the turret here at 70 on the sides and the front. That is an auto bounce. There is no gun in the game that can overmatch that unless they hit it and bounce into the side cheeks and the back. And the dead center part we are going to try and find here at 50. So at 50, it can get overmatched by 155s and higher. But 120s, 130s, they are going to auto ricochet off of that position if you are flat on the ground or using a little bit of gun depression. Now, jumping over to the armor on the lower plate, it's 90 degrees, and look at that angle. That is actually effective armor of about 250 to 220. Whenever I get a better computer, I will be able to actually go into armor models, which I hope that they have this tank in an armor model. I would love to see it. The sides of this tank at 140, that's a lot of armor. You are capable of side scraping in this tank without many issues at all. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump back down to the 85. That's actually angled right at the very top. Plus, you have 16mm of spaced armor there too. So, there's no going through that position whatsoever. If you get shot at from the side, standards or APs, they're going to hit it. More than likely, if you do get penetrated, it's because they bounced into your actual side armor. So, you know, don't rely on this. Don't pull out sideways because I said that. Just know you only have 100mm of side armor. You can side scrape extremely well. The top plate of this tank is actually comparable to the IS-4. So we're going to go ahead and jump out of this. We're going to jump over to the Russian tab real fast. And we are going to take a look at the IS-4, the frontal hull of the IS-4 real fast. So the frontal hull, you're looking at about 140 right there. That's actually reliable armor. And this is a tank I like comparing it to because they're about the same angle. I mean, this one's a little bit more sloped than the Corvettes, but not by much. Maybe like 5 degrees, if that. I mean, we come back over they look about the same, but they're not. It's about a 5-degree difference. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to play 2 matches in this tank and see how it performs. As you can see, I have it 3 marked. I already know how it performs, but we're going to see how the matchmaking is today. It is Monday, which means that the one up, well, the one like that. All right, the matchmaking event that just went on for the +1 -1 is now over. So we're going to be seeing tier 10s. And I'm kind of hoping to run into some tier 10s. I did try doing another match and recording over that match, but for some reason there was only 7 versus 7. It was like 2 tier 9s and the rest is tier 8s. And it was like, whoa, okay, what's going on there? All right, well, here is the first match, well, second match of the day. Let's take a look. All right, so we're middle tier. There's no tier 7s. There's a chance that the -1 +1 still going on because they did say it was going to go into Monday. But I thought when they said into Monday that it would end at 3 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Eastern time, because that's the server reset. For me, at least. Alright, so we are on Arctic region. Now, if I spawned on the other side, I probably would have rushed middle. But we didn't spawn there. We're on the southern spawn, down at the bottom left. So we're going to try and make an aggressive play over by probably H7. That's a position I like to try and hold, depending on how many teammates are behind me, or any tank destroyers or heavy tanks decide to come with. So let's go ahead and jump in. The standard shells of the Kurt-1 are really nice just because of the 1400 meters of travel speed. And as you can see, the way that the tank is turning, and then you look at the speed that's already going on, you're going to consistently hit that 42 meter top speed mark a lot. And speaking of lightweight, there's some Iron Rain. And I have high explosives. But he's not out in the open, so we're not going to load and go and try and be aggressive. That's a Type 61. And look at that! Premium shells right off the spaced armor on the side. E75 off to our left. He's probably going to shoot the dirt. These guys are having fun against the Kurt-1's armor right now. And look at the reverse speed going uphill. You are capable of moving in this tank. Now, we're going to try and side scrape against the E75. Normally this doesn't really work out too well depending on the tank. And the cheek that we are exposing does not have the side plate. So, we'll see if he knows where to aim. Ah, look at that. Already up to 1,320 ricochet. And they're hitting the spaced armor because they're not thinking about it. So going through the spaced armor into 85 millimeters of angled armor. And that's all they're doing right now. Yep. And that one ricocheted into the tracks from going from the top. And now we're getting all that juicy assist damage. Now 1,400 meters travel speed. I mean, we were probably going to miss that shot because it's a small target and he's moving around. But right now, we're just focused on getting some assist damage, keeping these guys spotted for the tank destroyers and artillery to just pound on them. Now, the position that I'm in right here, this is a position that's extremely strong, especially against people trying to come up that hill. We're doing a slight angle, plus we're trying to max out our gun depression to make that top plate thicker. But from their point of view, they cannot see our lower plate at all. So they're probably done peeking, so it's my turn to take a peek here. Let's see if that FV's still over here, or the Type 61. So Type 61's there. We're going to put a shell into him. Now we're going to back up. We're going to angle. And he's putting premium into spaced armor. Don't know why he's firing so much premium. He really should load some standards. If he was loading standards, more than likely he would go through. And the STI overmatches our side armor and puts it into our tracks. But spaced armor in this game, a lot of people don't pay attention. And if you look at the side of the tank there, that's the hole that the Type 61 made. If he would have aimed just a little bit lower, he would have went through. But since he shot into the spaced armor with premium rounds, it's always going to ricochet. It's going to get absorbed. Now, this STI, we're not going to penetrate him unless we reload premium. But I do know that at this position, I should be able to hold extremely well against him. Now, Confun's a 50 tons trying to rush. And ammo rack by artillery. That deserves a great shot. He's sad. He is very sad. I am so sorry. You had so much health. Artillery hits very hard. It is sometimes ridiculous how hard they hit you, but it makes sense, you know. Heavy tanks that can stay in a position and hold that position, artillery's got to be able to dig them out. If not, then some matches would be at a standstill the entire time you're playing. Now, we're just kicking back. You know, we're middle tier. All I'm doing is just getting spot assist. That's all I really care about. I am going to take shots at weak points and try and penetrate, but the chances I'm going to go through against tier 9s, they're not that high, but they're up there. I can try. But so far, we're up to 3,080 ricocheted and 2,550 absorbed and 782 dealt. And we didn't get the spot assist for that one, so I don't know who spotted him. Probably the guy that's down low, the E50. Now, the T61, let's see if he's still firing premium, and we shot the rock. So now we're going to back off. We're going to give him our side. We're going to see if he likes to still load premium all day. And he does, but since he was flat on the side, he's going to go through. Now, we just took a shot from the STI, so we got to try and get in the cover fast. STI gets taken down by artillery. And so far, this aggressive play, which it wasn't too aggressive, more like we pushed up and we just kept everything over here spotted, turned out extremely well. Now, the Iron Rain that was back there, I do think it did get hit by artillery. He is not with us anymore, so we can't lob any high explosives anywhere. But we're going to load one just because there is a Shaska, an artillery, and a Waffle Panzer IV. If we can find any of those and hit them, we have a chance between 380 to 660. So we're going to do it. Now, I could wish all day for a high roll, but we all know how that goes. So, the last match I played that I ended up in, I lost my third mark, but this match, with the combined damage of 4,500, I should get it back. Even if I die, I should get it back. I have no clue where that Waffle Panzer IV is, so I'm a little uncomfortable rushing up like this. And there he is. We are going to try and get a shell into him, but the chances that we're going to get it into him are pretty low before artillery does. And we get taken down by the Waffle because of the M103 pushing up. But we get the track assist for the M103 for that 303 damage that was left on him. And look at that 877 that artillery just threw out. That's what happens whenever you're out in the open with light armor. So, second class mastery, and that jumped us back up to 94.84. I tend to stay around 95% in this tank. It's a nice tank. But second class mastery with 3,755 spot assists, 3,000 blocked, and almost 1,200 dealt. You know, that it could have been better. I could have probably gotten a little bit closer in and decided to rush that Type 61 whenever he was by himself before the FV showed up and, you know, got 1,000 damage off him. But then again, I probably would have gotten knocked down a lot of my health. So we took third place in the team, and we were, you know, bottom tier technically, but we're actually middle tier because it's against 9s. So we got third place because of the spot assist. We also moved around a lot. Now, this tank in reverse, we went up that hill going 17 and 16. That is the advantage to the kirovets. Okay, so being able to slam on reverse and just get up a hill. The terrain resistance on this tank, as long as you're not on like mud or trying to drive through water, that reverse speed is tremendous. It helps out so much. And with the 1 and 1.1 on hard and medium, you barely notice a difference whenever you switch to hard or medium. You don't notice a big difference. So we're going to go ahead, jump into the second match right away. I should have clicked X. That probably would have helped out rather than going back to garage. Now, looking at the board here, there's no tier 9s on. No, never mind, there's 2 now. I'm probably going to get thrown in with 10s because, you know, that's what happens to replay 8s. You barely ever see top tiers whenever 1+1. Wait, nope, I think the event's still going on. What am I talking about? +1, -1 might be going on the rest of the day today. And if it is, I'm going to make some money. And if you're watching this as it is released, I will be playing tier 8s and tier 10s. You know. So, oh, look at that, top tier. So, you saw a tier 9 match. I didn't get a lot of penetrations. They were in some pretty haul down positions. And STIs, they are very strong. E75s, they are also very strong. Both of them with over 250 plus turret armor. STI especially at like 260. Effective armor of like 400 in some spots. So this is the reskinned map of Airfield. I'm starting to like it. I think that the areas that they flattened out, they changed the meta of the map a lot. And I honestly have no complaints. I mean, at first I did. I ended up on the map, and you know, it's a new map. You don't know where to go, so you rush in and you're just like, oh, well, I'm dead. Now, if you take a look, we're already going 42, and we've been going 42 for a while. This tank holds its speed very well. It gets in this, you can get into really strong positions really fast, especially for how fast this thing can get. So, Tiger 1 spotted. We outspotted him somehow, don't ask. Because I don't even know. And there's the .45 gun dispersion in action. But we are going to try and get another shot into him. For 372. And we're not even getting spotted. There's so much foliage around this map. So many bushes and trees. In my opinion, it's nice to have foliage in maps because it allows you to take some pop shots that normally you wouldn't be able to do. So, you know, try and get behind some bushes. Like, if I was further back behind these bushes here, I probably would have never got spotted whenever I took that shot. So we're actually going to do that. Look at that, IS-2 coming around the corner. He's coming up the hill. Well, not anymore. We're just going to give this a few more seconds, and if no one comes up, we're going to push in. This is still early on in the match, so I don't want to rush in too early. Especially since most of the heavy tanks are right now kind of kicking it in the back there. So a few tier 7s. There's a tier 8. The Minuteman's strong enough to push up against 8s. Stock 8, he's an autoloader. He's struggling. That 33-second reload is kind of a killer. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a little bit of aggressive. This IS-2 here, he's not going to be able to do much against us, especially since I'm going to be able to show off what I was talking about earlier. This hill here, I don't have to expose my lower plate. I can get my 5 degrees of gun depression to work by using the environment to my advantage. And especially since we have 140 top plate, we can do this. So you take a pop shot, then you just pull forward a tad bit. Suddenly, your top plate's extremely thick. The turret still only has 195 in the front. But against a tier 7, you should be able to bounce him unless he's loading premium and he hits it flush. So extremely flat on. So this Black Prince who isn't paying attention, we're going to take a pop shot. We're going to quickly angle and get the spot assist for that juicy fire plus hit. Now we're going to come around, probably finish him off. He's a little sad. We're going to take that shot from that SC-100, get pinned by a T-32, but then we're going to flip. So, I probably could have taken my time to really pull out against that guy rather than doing what I just did. But we're covered. We're down to 106 hit points, but the Shaska's been punished enough. That fantastic armor in the front of this. Shaska's probably going to delete us. No, he's not. He's going to ricochet. So, Now we're going to try and pay attention to everything around us and not get hit again. So I'm going to load a high explosive, and we're going to see if we can get a high roll on him and not get shot in the rear. And beautiful high roll for 507. He is not a happy camper. At T-32, he's trying to come out and find us, but he just gets deleted by artillery plus a tank destroyer. Oh, look at that. Tracked him. That's awesome. Come on, shoot him while he's still tracked. Thank you. Come on, more assist. And the assist is gone, but we're probably going to get the kill. We're going to reload. And we low roll for 316, leaving him on just 16 hit points left. So artillery and a tank destroyer. Tank destroyer is a Scorpion G. We have 4 more high explosives, so we're just going to pop one in. And I do think that they are over here on the left side. That Scorpion's got more gun depression than me at 7 degrees, so if he's up on the hill and I have to try and pull up, that's not going to be fun. Probably would have been better off just loading standard rounds right now, because they're both low health. And right now we're going faster than a British tank uphill. We're going 23 uphill. And if we can... Oh, come on, 5 degrees of gun depression. Oh, why'd you work against me? I guess it's one of the only, flaws to this tank would be the gun dispersion values of 0.45 and having a, let's say, gun depression at 5 degrees. There's a lot of spots that you're going to hit that you're just going to feel like you're struggling with. But overall, the Kurt-1 or the Scorch, they are good tanks. They have extremely well armor. You can make some very aggressive plays. And if you don't want to make an aggressive play, hey, finding a spot in a town to hold down, perfectly fine. The side armor on this tank, I've shown it off twice now, plus the front plate. This is me literally just recording and talking over what I am doing at the moment. Pulling out a first class mastery badge, getting my 3rd mark back for 2,829 dealt and 1,951 assist. Fantastic. Probably top of the team for that play that we just pulled off, but we only blocked 710 this match. We didn't block a whole lot, but I think blocking was better shown last match than it was this match for the plays that I made. Actually, we took 2nd place in the team. Look at this guy. Congrats, man. Centurion 5-1. I wish I had that replay to review. That would have been nice. But this tank overall, it's really good. It doesn't have the alpha of the Defender or the Object 252U. But, with an 11-second reload with a 390 alpha, you're still going to hit hard. And the advantage that this tank has is 1,400 meter traveling APCR with 221 base pin. Those rounds move extremely fast. Now, pulling off a snapshot in this tank, it can happen for how fast those standard rounds do travel, but don't rely on it. Try and hold your ammunition and take shots that you know are going to hit. Sometimes you can risk it, like let's say 4 shells a match. Go ahead, try snapshotting. One of them might hit, and later in the future one might hit. It's always best to take your chances and see what you can do. Would I recommend that you buy this tank? Yes. I would recommend you get this tank and rub it in everyone on PC's face because they can't get it yet. So, this is Matt Haven. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I know I am. And I'm happy that I had 2 pretty decent matches inside this tank this morning. This is a tank I really do like to play. And, yeah, probably out of tier 8s, I would rate this tank, from a 1 to 10. I'd rate it at an 8. It's got a pretty high rating. I'm going to put it there just because of the armor. The view range, not the greatest. The gun dispersion, do I even need to say anything at 0.45? Maybe not. It is It is really high, you know. But the armor on this tank, it is equivalent to a tier 10 except for the turret. But even the turret's strong. Now, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to go play with Blade since he bugged me. And thank you for watching.